Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Talk More. I'm your host, Matt Morrison. Join with me today is Austin Town Fitch baseball head coach Joe Paris joining me here. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. I was really excited that you got to come on here today because I had Dom O'Brien on Friday, and you got to know Dom, right?
Yes.
Does a great job calling you guys, and it's such a story book program to call, in my opinion. 2 years ago, you guys won state. Last year, you had a good run as well. Unfortunately, you didn't get back to where you were 2 years ago, but ultimately, still a good run. What's it going to be like this year, going into kind of like year three of trying to get back to that state championship, or like year two, honestly?
I'm not sure what you're asking. We weren't in the state championship.
Weren't you 2 years
No,
ago?
no, we were not in the state championship.
Oh, never mind then. It must have been somebody else then. But I know you had a good run last year, though. I must have been a different team I'm thinking of. Man, I just screwed up on air.
That's okay.
But last year, a pretty good run. What are you going to do to build off that season last year, per se?
Well, last year we were really young, and coming in this year we still are young, but we have a lot of veterans coming back at the same time. So we lost about 5 or 6 seniors. Some are still playing in college. So a lot of our young guys are going to have to step up this year and fill bigger roles than they had last year.
Yes, most definitely. And I was actually thinking of Warren JFK. That's my bad.
Okay.
That's my bad because Dom O'Brien calls Warren JFK. So that's totally on me. I mean, I don't know why that got in my head that that was the same.
It's all good. It's all good.
But like you said, a young team. So you got most of the team back for this year. So that's going to be exciting. Then they're going to be more experienced as well too, right?
Yeah, we started a couple freshmen and a couple sophomores last year. Like the seniors that we lost were a major part of our team, especially the heart of our order. So a lot of the young guys are going to have to step up and fill bigger roles than they did last year. But we should be solid, and we're going to come out and play hard every single night, and we're going to put forth our best effort, and hopefully everything works out in our favor.
Yes, I mean that's all you can do. I mean, you just prepare the best you can, like with the young team you have. Who's sticking out to you? Who's coming in? Like, who's getting your attention the most? You got a pitcher you like, an outfielder, even like a senior leader if you have any.
Well, we definitely have senior leadership. Yeah. Jack Knight is one of our top pitchers, and Frankie Puglisi. Those are our 2 team captains. So we're going to expect leadership from those 2 guys, and hopefully that trickles down to the younger guys. But we do have younger guys that made a major impact. Mesa Petrides pitched a lot for us last year. Carter Owens is going to play some shortstop for us this year. He made an impact as a freshman last year. And we had a sophomore second baseman that made all conference. So we have guys at different positions that have to step up. And if they don't, then it's going to be a long season for us. But I have every bit of confidence they're going to do what they're supposed to do.
And, you showing them that you have all your confidence, like that's the number one thing. Like, hey, coach has got our backs. If we screw up, I mean, he's going to be there to guide us even more. I mean, I expect you to get on them a little bit, like, hey, don't do that, but that's the main thing you want to do. Like you said, with the younger team, you have your senior leaders, and you have your other coaches as well. Those guys you mentioned, I've heard them before. So very key players to your team. And they're also looking out for the younger guys too, because, in a couple of years, those guys are going to be in those other guys' shoes, doing the same thing. So it just trickles.
Right. Last year we had a couple seniors that did a great job of showing the younger kids all about leadership. They took the younger kids under the wing. And so now the kids that are leaders this year are doing the same for our younger group. We have a great coaching staff. The one thing about our coaching staff is we're all old school. We believe in playing baseball the way it's supposed to be played. We're not showboaters. We want to play hard. We're going to play hard every single night. And so, myself and my coaching staff, we truly believe in these kids, and they're Fitch kids. And that simply, they're going to battle, and they're tough. And, Fitch kids, they fight till the end. And that's what we're going to do. And hopefully at the end, we're going to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, Fitch is like, I mean, their storybook. I've called them, and I got the opportunity to call them in basketball, both boys and girls, and the fight in both of them. And the girls lost their game that I called, but the boys came out and actually had a really good game against Canfield, and that just shows the heart from any of their sports, including baseball as well. And, you have a lot of multi-sport athletes. Is there anybody else coming in that that has that experience from playing football or basketball that is going to contribute to the baseball field?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like shortstop Carter Owens. He started.
Oh, yeah.
He started varsity as for the basketball team, and
he sure did.
The head basketball coach and I, we go way back. He's been around a long time, just like I have, and we're all about sharing athletes, and that's very important to us. I encourage my players to play football and to play basketball, and he does the same for me. So, we work very well together, and so yeah, we encourage kids to play multiple sports. It's good for the kids, and it helps everybody else out.
Yes. So what's the depth between each position? Are you like with your pitching and stuff like that? Like how far do you go back?
That's a great question.
I try to ask everybody that question.
Yeah. So from last year to this year, it's night and day. Last year, I felt that our seniors, they did a great job all season long. Don't get me wrong, but the team was so young, there wasn't anybody pushing them really from behind, off the bench. This year, I feel it's totally different. Every position, for the most part, it's been a competition all spring long, and it's going to continue that way. We've got a couple scrimmages lined up, and the kids know how I feel, and it's a competition. And competition's good for the team. It makes you on edge. It makes you play hard all the time, and nobody's going to feel comfortable in their spot, because if they don't do what they're supposed to do, there's somebody behind that's willing and eager to take their place.
Yes, and in ways, I mean, like you said, it boosts up the competitiveness of each player. Like, hey, if I don't do my job, I'm out of here because the next guy wants my job. So, it's kind of hard not to be like, hey, like enemies with that guy per se. Like, hey, right. I don't want you taking my job, but it's also good to be like, hey, at least I got somebody to back me up. If I'm not off my game, in me in particular, if I was off my game, I'd be like, put him in. I'd be honored to have somebody come up and take my spot, because, I just want to win like everybody. And if I'm not helping out that situation, then yeah, bring the next guy up. So I bet you, I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of guys that are like,
life would be easy if it was always that way, but
I know it's not. It's not.
Kids want to play, so it's tough.
Everybody wants to play. So
exactly, it's tough for a kid to sit there and watch somebody else take his spot, especially if that kid's a senior and you got a young kid coming in trying to take it. That makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
But our kids have great attitudes. We preach team first. So does everybody else, for that matter. But we try to instill these guys. They're one big happy family, and we love each other, and we want to do whatever's best for this baseball team and this program.
Yes, and you guys are on track for that. I mean, I've been keeping an eye on you the past couple seasons, and even though I made that mistake with the state, I still have been paying attention. I just mixed up the team because I'm trying to get the Warren JFK coach on here as well. But I mean, I've still kept an eye. I mean, Austin, I'm in Mineral Ridge, so it's right down the street. So I always try to keep up with everybody, and I go to Sam's Wedgeon all the time, so I always hear the chatter there. Like, oh, the baseball, I heard it the other night. I was there. The baseball team's going to be good this year. I've heard it. Like, all right. The town's hyped up. So how does that feel when you got your fan support behind you guys? Like, everybody's talking about you. I didn't make that up. I heard 2-3 people talking about it.
Well, listen, I mean, that means everything. I'm a Fitch kid myself, and I always tell my players I had the privilege of playing for Coach Coppola, who started this program, I believe, in 1970. So I played for him. I coached with him. I'm following in his footsteps. And Fitch baseball is Richie Coppola. And, I'm old school. And he's a very important figure to me.
Yeah.
Got me on my coaching career here at Fitch, and he allowed me to come in and learn under him. And, I followed great coaches after him, and John Rourke and Wally Ford. So it's just a great honor to be able to coach a baseball team that you played for. and that you teach here. And, we have a great administration. The community is wonderful, and I've been here my whole life, and I'll probably my life will probably end. And I'll still be here. So,
I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I
right.
mean, I grew up in Kinsman. I went to Badger, and I've been calling Badger games for the past, couple of years now for YSN. So I get that. I like, being a part of your old school in a way, and, the same, that goes the same way with you. You teach there and you coach there and you went there. I mean, and, what each of these kids is going through because, you went through the same thing, pretty much, you played there. You know what the environment is like there. When things can get hard or when things could be, a walk in the park. So, and I mean, it's awesome to have on your resume of Coach Capola, learning from him. You get to just, pass down his legacy from learning everything from him. I like that. So
yeah, definitely.
So what are like the specific goals this year? Are you just trying? Is the bar set high? I always try to ask this to everybody too. So everybody that watches the show, I'm gonna ask: is the bar set high or is it kind of low? Even
the bar's never set low.
Good, because I've never had anybody say that, and I'm glad they don't. The bar is always high. I just feel like I gotta ask that.
You know what? I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about state championship and those kind of things. That's way out in the future. And we try to, I know it's cliche, but we try to take it one day at a time. And, what we're worried about right now is we're worried about our scrimmage on Tuesday and playing the best we can on Tuesday. And then the final scrimmage on Thursday. And we open up against a very good South Range team on Saturday. So to even talk about playoffs right now and those kind of things are in the future. And we try to keep things, in perspective and worry about one game at a time. We want to get better every single day. And I know that's a bunch of cliches, but it is true.
Hey.
We can't focus about Boardman or Canfield or any of those great opponents. We got to take care of South Range first on opening day.
Yes, and I know it sounds cliche. I know it's all right, but that's probably one of the best answers I've had. And this is no knock on all the other coaches I've had on here, but I've gotten a lot of the answers like, "Oh, we want to make the run at districts this year," or anything like that, and that's great, But you guys are like, it's that 1-0 mentality every week. Every week, that's who we're focused on. We're not focused on who we play in 2 weeks or even 1 week. We're focused on who we play tomorrow. Like you just said, we're focused on the scrimmage, and that's great that you mentioned that because I want to go right into that. Is this your first scrimmage?
No, it's our second.
It's your second scrimmage. Yes. So in that first scrimmage, was there any kind of shaking the rust off the bats and anything like that that happened or?
Yeah, you're inside a lot.
Yeah,
and because of the weather and the cold temperatures, and we've been able to get outside quite a bit. And but anytime you go from seeing a pitching machine to live hitting, there's going to be some rust. But I was pleased the way we hustled and we did the little things. I know that our offense is going to come as the season progresses, hopefully quicker than later. But I was pleased with the first scrimmage, but I'm definitely looking for a greater improvement here. Ironically, we scrimmaged JFK on Tuesday.
No way. No way.
So that's kind of ironic.
That is ironic. I just mix up the Eagles and the Falcons. I always mix up the animals. Right. I always mix up the animals. For some reason. I feel so bad about that now. But, I mean, I owned it. I owned it. But are you a team that practices in the parking lot a lot?
In the park?
In the parking lot. I've had a lot of coaches say that they've been in the parking lot. Okay, so you're not one of the parking lot teams. I've had 4 teams on here saying that, and I get it because I've seen the Badger team. I had the Boardman coach come on here as well. They practice in the parking lot because the field's not ready yet, or the gym's being used, or they just want to get outside because you can't. You want to get that outside feel, and you can't practice a lot of things inside. Like ground balls.
Being inside, but we're fortunate enough here in Austintown to have that turf, 100% turf field.
Boardman, I don't think Boardman has a turf.
They don't. I know Gabe's just trying to work his magic to try to get it. I think.
Yeah.
But, so if the temperature's usually around 40 or above, we get out there. Even if it's for an hour, we want to get outside and do what we can out there. But so we try to get outside as much as we can.
And that's the only way you're gonna really get things rolling. You got to be outside. I feel that a lot. when you're inside, like the batting cages and stuff. But when you're in a gym, I mean, you can't practice, the ground balls in the gym. Like it's going to bounce too high. You want to get on the field. Right. You want to practice those in-game situation type things. And we got finally get a comment on the show. Good luck to the Falcons, Ari Marie Roth. Thank you. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do. Very, very, very well. Her son was my ace last year. He's actually just started yesterday for Akron on the mound. Had a great outing.
Sweet.
For the Zips. Yep.
Sweet. So a couple more questions for you, and we'll get you on your way. What's the most exciting thing that you're looking forward to this year? We asked you about the goals. You talked about that. What's one thing you can't wait to do? Whether it's just playing baseball, or is there a specific player you can't wait to see? Anything like that?
First pitch.
First pitch.
First pitch. That's it. I can't wait for the first pitch on Saturday. After that, it's that's what we coach for games, and I just can't wait to get to it. It's such a fun season, and it's a long season, but it's a blast.
It is.
The competition amongst the coaches, we've been, especially the ones that have been around for a while.
Yeah.
Games,
and it's friendly competition now. I know
it is. When the game's over, it is. But sometimes,
I'm sure.
But that's what makes it fun. That's
what. Absolutely.
I just enjoy being around the kids, man. They keep you young, and they work so hard for you, and I'm so appreciative of what my players do for me.
And I can tell you, baseball is definitely like my favorite sport, not only to watch but to call. And when you mention the word opening day, you just think hot dogs. You think summer's coming, like it's awesome. Football, summer's going away. Basketball, and you're in the dead of winter. Baseball, it's spring and summer coming in.
Right.
More with high school baseball, it's spring, but professional baseball, it's
right.
The boys of summer. That's what they call it. So I love baseball because it means flip flops and shorts, not coats and stocking hats. So that's good enough for me. Like that's what I think of opening day. And I'm sure you guys have your own thing of it. Like you just can't wait to get out there, and it's awesome to have.
Yep.
Everybody has their own interpretation of opening day. Mine is good weather, and you get to get outside. I love being outside, especially calling baseball. I don't care where I set up. I've set up everywhere, so it's always awesome to be outside when you're cooped inside for basketball. It's stuffy in there. It's just but I want to say good luck to you. Your first game is coming, right?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
This Saturday
25th, yes, against South Range.
Well, that'll be a good one. But
definitely.
But I want to say good luck to you, and we'll have to bring you on here later, in the middle of the season or something like that. Give an update. All right.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right,
for your time.
Thank you so much for coming on here.
Take care.
All right. Now let's focus to our next guy that's popping on here. Let's bring in one of our own here. Let's bring on Matt Mayer. We got the Matt Show. Matt Mayer, how we doing today? Thank you for coming on here with me. You've been with YSN for over a year, almost two.
We're just reaching the first year. Actually,
you're just reaching the first year. Now I remember. I was sitting in, we were in YSU, we were doing a game. I was doing graphics. You were doing what you were doing. And, you heard me talking about YSN and you were asking about it. And, that's where it all started, right?
Yeah. I mean, because of you and your, how enthusiastic you got about it. I mean, you made it sound like it was a little bit bigger than it really is. Not that I'm saying that anything here is negative, but yeah. I mean, you just kept talking it up, and you just kept making me think, like, man, I need to get involved with this. This is awesome. You gave me DJ's information, and we went from there.
There we go. And it's been a blessing since, right? I mean, I like to hear like the people I bring in do good things, and I really feel like I gave, like, I'm not taking all the the credit. Like I gave you information, that was it. But when I heard like you called like 63 baseball games in the summer, like that was like, hey, all right. I got him set up and look what he's doing. He's doing good things. So I'm happy you're doing great, and I'm happy you're liking it. So, what's the goal here going on for YSN for you? Just to
keep games. Yeah,
just keep doing games.
Yeah, I haven't really thought too far into just what exactly I'm going to get fully out of this. Still trying to figure out my life, as I'm sure you are too. Just out of college, so just taking it one day at a time. Waiting for Quinn to send the text like, "Here's your schedule," and
and just go from there. Yeah. And when you get that schedule from Quinn, are you anticipating it at all? Like, I'm always like, yeah, come on, Quinn, send that schedule in. Let's go call some games. And I always feel bad if I can't do a game because, like if I have to do something else or it's just not going to work with the range of where it is. But I always try and go out and do a game. And, what's that like for you when you get that text? Like, you're excited to get a specific game or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I always get excited because it's it's work and it's more experience in something that I've actually grown to love. I get excited anytime he sends me a text like saying, "Here's what you can work." And sometimes I say, "Hey, I saw that this game's open on the schedule. Could you let me in on the schedule there?" I'm like, "Can I actually do this one instead of this one because this one might be a little more cool?" It's like, "Oh yeah, sure," or like, "Oh, well, we're gonna do this, that." But I always get excited, and then I try and make my schedule work for myself as well.
Yep. And you're still have you graduated?
No, I'm going to be graduating. I believe right now I'm expected to finish on July 2nd.
July 2nd. All right. So summer graduate. All right. That's not too far away.
Nope.
You'll be broadcasting, right?
One more time.
What was your major again?
Believe it or not, it's journalism.
It's journalism. That's all right. I mean, I was journalism before I switched over to broadcasting, and I have a couple of friends that were journalism. So it's good to get into the writing side of the broadcasting too. It's good to know both sides. That's what I've always been told. So that's a good degree to get into. So moving on, let's go to this next question here. What team have you been really involved in? Like, what team are you excited to go call? Like, I know you bounce around. I know you've done Brookfield, and I know you've done a couple other teams, but go ahead.
I mean, yeah, like you just said, I've done a couple other teams. I kind of just go wherever I'm told, but I always try and stay close to home. I live in Girard, so I try and do those games. I called probably most of my games when it came to basketball, boys and girls, was the Girard home games whenever they were home. And I'm excited to see if I can try and do any baseball or softball. We got to try and figure out the power situation at those fields. We'll see if that happens. And if we can, then great. I'll be on the call for as many games as I can for them. If not, then I'll just continue to travel around Youngstown and see whoever needs to get called.
Yes, and it's nice that we get some of the equipment to help with the baseball. Like, I know we get generators and hotspots, but I mean, it goes further than that, weather conditions and stuff like that. I'm actually looking on Amazon right now to look for a pop-up tent to buy. I don't care, I'll buy it. I'm going out and doing it, so I might as well get it, because last year I've had rain, I've had wind, everything just affected the season last year, and they'll still play in the rain. If it's only a sprinkle of rain, they'll probably play. But a little sprinkle of rain is gonna just ruin all the equipment that we have. So what are you gonna do with that to prepare for that a little bit more?
We'll see. Right now, all I have is an old umbrella in my car. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the funds to be able to do what you want to do there. But you bring up the rain there. I remember I was calling a playoff game for Champion Baseball last season, and it started to rain, and I was texting Brian just to say, like, hey, how much can this take? And he said, just put it away. If you don't have any cover, put it away. And so it sucked. I couldn't finish calling that game. I had to wrap everything up and just stick around and write a story about it afterwards, which I feel like, it's coverage, but it's not, what we were promising.
Yeah, that's not what, I know there's other people that just report scores, but we're here to call the game, and we're here to provide, coverage for people that can't necessarily come to the game. And, that's what we try to do. And when we can't do that, I feel that too. I've had to do that too. And it's, it stinks. Like, you can't, like, I'm looking forward to call the game. And I remember last year it was raining pretty good, and, Badger ended up canceling the game. But I remember I was sitting in the stands, so I had stuff scattered all the way across the bleachers, right? And I had people just sitting around me with their umbrellas up over me, and it was one heck of an effort to try and cover all that stuff. But I mean, you got to be prepared for the circumstances you're going to be in. I've called in a bunch of places. I've called in, not really the unique spots. I mean, I remember first year I was calling up in Liberty in a steel shack with 45-mile-an-hour winds blowing in. I called in an old abandoned concession stand in Boardman. I've been set up in the outfield, behind home plate, wherever in baseball, where you don't have cover, you don't have protection at all. At least in football, you have a roof over you. But basketball, you're inside, so you don't have to worry about that too much. It's baseball, though. Baseball is the season where like you have to really put your big pants on and be like, hey, we have to figure out. Like, I check weather forecasts. Oh, yeah. Like, do you do that too?
Yeah, I mean, you have to at least look at the forecast and say, like, all right, here's where they want me to go, but here's what the weather's saying. Should I do this or that? I mean, last year. Sorry, school's on the brain right now. We're in full swing.
It's okay.
Yeah, last year, I mean, I didn't really do that much because I just wasn't thinking it was new. I was just trying to get used to it and gain more confidence. But now it's just like, all right, maybe I should take a look just in case, and maybe I should say, hey, it's supposed to rain pretty bad, but I know this team likes to play in the rain if they can, or because we're at the end of the season, whatever. Is there any chance I can move over here and do this game or whatever? And go from here.
So, like, your first game that you called, what was that like? Because I tell you what, it's okay to be scared. I was nervous as ever going in. First game, I think it was Brookfield football, and they were playing Garfield, and I was on color, and I was just shaking. My hands were shaking. I was sweating horribly, and I still get that sometimes. I remember I did my first football game by myself this year, and I was nervous because usually I was the color guy. Now I'm doing play-by-play. Like for basketball and for baseball, I've done play-by-play, but not for football. And it was just nerve-wracking. Did you get that at all? Have you gotten that since that?
I mean, the first ever game, because I had never done anything like that before.
It's nervous.
And it wasn't even because of, like, oh, there's people watching. It's because there are parents right next to you that look at you, and they might be judging you really hard if you get the name wrong, but they don't want to say something.
I know.
Or because I just am nervous as heck because, again, it's my first broadcast, and I might say something that has nothing to do with baseball by mistake because I'm just like, whoops, So, that was frightening, but I got used to it. It was also at Scene Park, too, so...
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't able to go under because I was at Field 3, and Andy, he doesn't always let you in there. But
no. I haven't got the opportunity to call a lot of summer games, just other stuff going on. But this year, I'm gonna be well into it. I'll be doing summer games. I'll do the Class A and B games. Now, I remember last year I had to do a Class A game. I think it was 18U, so 18 and under were playing. The first game was supposed to be at 6, and the weather just came in and delayed it, and it got pushed to 8 o'clock, and I had another one at 11 supposedly, and it was just gonna be a long night. This is in Struthers, and I'm all the way in Kinsman, Ohio, so that's an hour drive easily. So it was just a long night. The second game ended up getting canceled, but I still didn't get home till like midnight, and it's you wake up the next morning, and if you have a other job, have to get up and go to that job. It's just, it beats you down. So have you gotten that at all? There's just the exhaustion. I mean, 63 games you called in the summer. You had to be going all day at some points, right?
There was only one time where I went all day, and then I realized this is insane. I'm a sociopath if I'm going to do this every day during the summer.
I've heard people go from 8 a.m. to like 9 at night there.
Yeah, so. I don't think I can do that. I tried it once and I didn't even I ran out of water before. I'm just like, okay, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. I try and cap out at like 3 at most if I can do that. But I mean, weather you're always going to experience. There was this one time near the end when we were getting closer to playoffs with Class B baseball. I can't remember the teams. I think it was Ballistic versus somebody. I can't remember, but there was a thunderstorm coming in, and you could see like like the actual lightning in the distance coming in, and the umpires wouldn't call the game because they're like, all right, we just need to get this to, I think it's 5 innings to have a complete game, and we're almost there. So they try and pushed it for as long as they could, and then the rain hit, and I had to like pack up really quickly and run to my car.
Yeah. So it just it affects you sometimes, and I'll be prepared to I'll do anything for YSN. I'll go out and work. Especially when I'm at a school. You'll still be doing school in the summer, so that has played an effect before too. When I was in school before I graduated, like, oh, I can't do this game. For instance, I had night classes this past semester, so I couldn't do, and they were on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's when high school basketball is happening, 7:00 on a Tuesday night. So I had to miss a couple of those. Now, like when school's over, it's really a huge weight lifted, and you can just go and call as much as you want. So believe me, it'll be better when school ends. Okay.
Yeah, there's been plenty of basketball games on Wednesday nights where I'm just like, man, I can't call this. It sucks. Yeah,
I know. I know there was a couple games, like I called Badger Bristol, and I was like, hey, listen, it was a broadcasting teacher, so I was like, hey, listen, I can't pass this game up. I have to call this game, okay? And I come straight out to him. I didn't try and lie. I'm like, hey, I'm missing because I'm calling this game. And, he was completely fine with that. I did the stuff I needed to do, and, we went from there. I think I only had to do it once. So it wasn't a habit of it. But, I mean, they seem to be all right with it. This is what I'm doing. This is what you're doing for your career. So, and I don't think they mind too much. But one more question for you, and we'll get you on your way here. Thanks for coming on here and talking with me. What has been the most memorable moment for you here working at YSN? And, what do you look forward to as well?
Ooh, memorable moment.
I can help you out.
You can help me out.
I had my memorable moment. I mean, Badger.
Oh, your memorable moment. I'm like, you can remember for me? Awesome, go for it.
No, I don't think I can remember. I can't even remember for myself most of the time, but in certain circumstances, like was it a game or anything like that? Like for me, it was Badger this past year so far. Both teams getting to the district championship. They didn't win, but they made it. So it was nice to see both teams successful. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of just one. I mean, I've just had fun with broadcasts and just, I was able to get my buddy Jordan to help me out now, and he's getting into doing color like you started here, and we'll see if he gets into that. But it's hard to choose just one because there have just been so many great moments with different playoff games or tournaments over the summer with baseball. Or, I mean, it's just been fun. It's just been fun. Is that what you're looking forward to too? Just calling games, right? Yeah, just keep it going, keep the pressure low, and just have fun with it, and just glide on through. Yeah. But all right, Matt, thanks for coming on here and talking with me. We'll get you on here another time. I'd like to get more broadcasters on here with me just to give them their viewpoint as well. And not a lot of people know who's calling their games. So I mean, of course, when you go there and you've been there, like people know who you are. But I like to get people on the show here and give them their background stuff like you just did, and what it's like working for YSN, because not a lot of people get to know the people that call their games. Like for me, for Badger, like I grew up there, everybody knows me, but that's not going to be the situation for everybody. You're getting a guy that you don't really know sometimes, and it's nice to know a little bit about them. So I like to bring people on here, and I want to thank you for coming on and talking with me for a little bit. Yeah. Also, to your point with not knowing who's broadcasting, whatever, if you want to know where I'm calling a game next, follow me on Twitter at Matt Morrison. It's spelled right there on your screen, 117. It's all one word, capital M's for both first and last name. You can find that there. I do highlights, try and cut it together. So put stuff up there on YouTube, and my YouTube's linked right there. So just go to Twitter, and you'll be able to find everything right there. Awesome. Awesome. If you're looking to see if I'm covering your team, I might be. Awesome. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on here, and I hope you have a good day. All right. Yeah, you too. Thank you. All right. Have a good one. Well, we should be getting our next guest here soon. I have a backup if we don't, but we're going to take a short break here. But we'll be right back here with more talk very shortly.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County
on air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back here, and as we're waiting for my next guest to come on here, hopefully he can get on, but I had a recorded interview earlier this morning with the champion head coach, and we're going to go ahead and play that right now, and I'll hopefully get it all in, but if not, it'll definitely be posted on our YSN YouTube page, most definitely. We'll get that up so you can see it, but without further ado, here it is. Hello, everybody. Let's welcome in champion head coach Andy Barker. I'm Matt Morrison here with them. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Matt. Thank you.
What's pretty cold this morning, I'll tell you that. Oh, my goodness. I walked outside. I'm like, oh, no. A week ago, it was like 60 degrees. So, but what's going to that? How's that weather affecting with practices and stuff like that? Because that just kicked in my head, like, a lot of these guys are playing outside, and if it's like 25 degrees, like, that's not going to feel too good.
Yeah, right now it's kind of brutal. We've been inside in our indoor facility and in the gym quite a bit. We did get a chance to go over to Middle Ridge and have a scrimmage on their turf. But just like, anybody else right now, a lot of parking lot baseball. If we get a chance to go outside, it's beating up leather baseballs on a parking lot. In February, we actually got out on the field, but it's been a while since, if it's not raining, it's cold. And if it's not cold, it's raining right now.
Yes, absolutely. And you talk about a lot of parking lot baseball. And like you said, like every other team, I think most of the teams I've had on here were practicing in the parking lot. So it's perfectly normal to practice in the parking lot. Now, let's talk about this. So last year, something that you definitely want to, move on from, not the best of years. But, I mean, hey, bad seasons happen, forever. They happen to everybody. So going on into this year, what are you going to do to just kind of move on? And, are you adding new guys? Are you losing anybody, anything like that?
It's kind of funny because we talk about, the standard out of champion being the standard is what we say. And, you look at a season we had last year, we were 16-7 and we won the league and lost in the, district semis to South Range. And, I guess
competitive year. Very
yeah. And the thing is, we expect to compete every year in the league. We expect to compete for district. So we let the kids know there's high expectations out here. And, last year, we went through and we did win the great tier at the MVAC. But we did lose a couple of key players out of that from that team. We lost Nate Holt, who was the MVAC player of the year. He's now playing baseball at Notre Dame. College in Cleveland. Jack O'Shaughnessy, we lost. He was a 4-year letterman.
Yeah, O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, Cale Klingeman was a starter for us. So, you do lose every year. You lose seniors, but luckily out at Champion, we reload. We have our numbers are up this year. We've got over 30 kids playing in both JV and varsity. We had 17 freshmen come out, which is awesome. Yeah. And I've got a good JV staff down there. They're working with those guys pretty hard, and we have a couple that actually practice with us. The numbers are good.
That's awesome. Like you said, 17 freshmen coming in. Yeah, you lose a couple of your core guys, but I mean, you're right back there on the track. Adding those guys in, you don't know who's gonna come up and succeed right away. Especially 17 freshmen. So that's amazing right there. But like you said, that's what I was kind of getting at. The loss to South Range. Like you won your, the MVAC, your division, and then, make a nice little run, and then the semi-district finals, you come up a little short. But hey, any team wishes to be there in that district semifinal. Not a lot of teams get to that point. And, when you lose players and add, 17 freshmen, you're going to get those chances almost every year to go out and compete.
That's what we expect. This year coming in, our senior class has been awesome. They're leaders. They couldn't wait to get started. In their eyes, we don't practice enough. They'd go 7 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day. They buy in, and it's been good so far. Because it does get frustrating with the weather, but they're there every day. They want to work harder. And, some of them show up because JV practices later than us. They'll go and get extra cuts when they know Winter Haven's open for them.
So I know you touched on it just a little bit, like what the expectations are, but where's the bar set this year for you guys?
Bar set is always, we expect to compete for a league championship and a district championship. We talk about that openly. The boys know what our expectations are, and we expect to be there. We've got quite a bit of pitching this year, and it's just we're going to go out and compete, and we've built a schedule that is extremely competitive. We've also got a league that's extremely competitive.
Yes, most definitely. Oh man. I always gotta forget to turn that off. It bugs me. But the like you said, the league is a tough league you're in, and it's very hard to win that that side of the MVAC you're on. A lot of teams in there that have a say in what other teams do, and the fact that you won it last year. Do you feel like you definitely have to come back and try really hard to get it? Like you're going to try hard to get it every year, but do you think the expectations are a little higher? Like they won it last year, let's see if they can do it again. Like is the pressure on more?
Yeah. It definitely is. And, the boys know that every time we go out and take the field that we've got that bullseye on our back this year. We're defending league champs, and, every other team knows that, and they want to knock us off, and they should. That should be their goal is, every team going in should want to win the league. So we take that, as personally as we can, and we go out and we give our best effort, and throughout our league games. And again, we know what's expected of us, what teams are going to do. They want that game. They want to knock who's on top off. Just like when we look at district, we want to win and knock those teams off. So
yes,
it's good to be in a competitive league.
Yes, you don't want to be in a league where, it's nice to win, but you want to feel good about the win. If you're coming in beating teams double digits every time, which is good, but you want to be in a league where it prepares you for more competitive challenges along the way,
100%.
So it's awesome to be in that type of league where it's like, hey, they beat us one time, then we go and beat them, and then we get them in extra innings or something like that. So
yeah,
that's awesome to have. But moving on here, what's each position looking like? Like your pitching depth, or your infield or your outfield, or even your catching position.
Right now, our pitching is led by Hunter Haynes, a senior.
Mm-hmm.
He pitched well for us last year, got some wins, threw a no-hitter last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we follow him up. We've got Brett Channel. He's had a 1.4 ERA. He's a tall, lanky lefty. So Hunter's a lefty also. And Brett, we expect a lot out of. We have Carson Fife. He's going to be a pitcher for us. Again, he's pitched for the varsity team since his freshman year. He's been back and forth. He's a junior. We have a sophomore named Brady Quimby, who has worked his tail off all off season and is going to be pushing for that number one spot. He's got real good velocity. The ball's moving. Just has to realize that he is pretty good. And we've got sophomore Dylan Howell, who pitched some big innings. He's another lefty. Carter Boggs is going to pitch for us. We have a lot of arms this year.
You got a lot of depth. You can go to any guy at any moment. Like if some guy's not having the best day, you have a couple other guys that you could possibly bring.
Yeah, and my assistant coach does a great job of working our pitchers or utilizing our pitchers in the best way. Then you go around the infield. You're going to hear. Nice thing is my outfield is set. I have 3 seniors in the outfield. I have
there you go.
Of basically one of the best athletes I've ever coached playing center field, and Joe Fell.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You've seen him in football and basketball.
I've seen him everywhere. Oh my goodness.
He's just as good in center field. He probably wouldn't like to hear it, but I still believe baseball is his best sport.
And he shows out in every sport. I've seen, like you said, it was awesome. He was one of the bright spots on the basketball team this year, and especially the football team too. So he's definitely a guy you can always depend on.
Yeah, so when there's a fly ball to center field, I just start looking at my coach, but I was going to catch it. In left field, I'm Micah Nolan. He lettered last year, good speed, he can cover a lot of ground. And then in right field, Brett Channel. He's also.
There's another one now who can really step up. I've seen it. But Coach, I want to thank you for coming on here. We'll get you on your way. Good luck to your season, and we'll have to bring you on here again in the middle of the season or so to give us an update. All right?
Yeah, anytime. And like I said, I thank you guys for the work you do.
Absolutely.
Before I go, just shout out to any booster clubs that help these teams operate right now, because everything costs a lot more right now. And I've got a great booster club that works well. And for you guys to come on and sell our sports even better. We have a lot of support throughout this area. As a baseball coach for a lot of years, that wasn't always the case, and it was sending scores in and hoping the paper, into the paper and getting those out. Mm-hmm. Now to have the groups that we have come and cover, it's pretty awesome. And it makes it more fun for the kids because they like to see their names in the newspaper, on YSN. It makes a difference, and it takes. I always laugh because everybody says coaches like cliches, and it's for baseball. Everybody says it's a marathon and not a sprint, but high school baseball in Ohio is a dead sprint.
Yeah, it is.
We're working hard, and so to the families that are out there, spring season's tough. I appreciate my family, what my wife puts up with this time of year. She puts up with a lot of me being gone or me calling her middle of the day saying, "Hey, I'm going to Canton for a game," or something like that. Mm-hmm. And all these families do. And you guys covering our games do a great job of following that kind of stuff, which is why, we need organizations like you guys and the other ones that are out there covering us. So thank you guys for what you do.
You're welcome, and we're more than happy to keep doing this stuff. That's just what we do. But thanks once again, Coach. Thanks for coming on here, and good luck to you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, have a good day.
You too, bud. Bye.
Well, we're back here. I wanted to skip ahead a little bit. I wanted to get that ending of the interview in. I really liked what he had to say at the end. But that full interview should be on our page very soon, especially on our YouTube page. But we're going to bring in our next guest here very soon. I think he stepped off for a minute, but let's go ahead and add him to the stream, see if he pops back up. CJ, you there? All right, we'll give him. He was there. He should be back here real soon. We'll take a quick break, though, get him a chance to come in. We'll finish the show with him.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Oh, we're back here. Let's bring CJ in here. There he is. How we doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Matt. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for coming in here. I'm glad you kind of saved me a little bit there coming in and talking to me. I had that interview with the champion head coach. That should be on, like I said before, it should be on YSN later, but I wanted to get you on here and just see how you're doing. How you're still calling games, right? And you're coaching too, right?
Yeah, I coach baseball at Beaver, so at Beaver area, not Beaver local. So it's not a YSN school. So that's taking up all my time right now. I'm not going to be calling too many games this spring. Okay. Baseball takes up most of my time. So but I'll dabble here and there. Maybe some Youngstown D League. I'll be up there sometimes. But
Oh, what's it been like working with YSN so far? I know you've been with YSN for a lot of years. I had the opportunity to call some games with you as well. What's that been like, though? Has YSN helped out where you've gotten? Even with coaching.
Oh, absolutely. I think coaching more so has helped me with broadcasting. It's given me a much
more knowledge.
Better knowledge of the game, a little bit more of a kind of perspective from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint. But YSN's been great. It's a lot of fun. First and foremost, it's not super taxing. They don't. Nobody pressures you. You got to go to this game, whatever.
Yeah.
It's really on your own time, and DJ says all the time, and I think he's right. Is YSN's really what you make of it. If you want to go far in broadcasting, you'll add more games to your schedule. You'll take it a bit more seriously. But if you just want to do it for fun, it's certainly an avenue too.
Yes, I mean the experience for me has been really great, and I know it has been for you. It's really built up, who I really want to be as a broadcaster and, as a host for a show. Even, it's really been something that I can really build on. And they give a lot of opportunities, the ones they've given me, obviously, with the show. And, I've been getting a lot of games as well since I've graduated. And I know you've had a lot of opportunities as well. And, you've taken advantage of that. I feel like, like you said, with the coaching and stuff like that. So what has, I know you said you're not going to call a lot of games, but you maybe call more in the summertime. What would that be like going from coaching to transitioning back into the broadcasting? What's that always like? Is it weird? Like you should be on the field, instead of in the booth or?
Yeah, I felt that a couple of times where you're just sitting there announcing a game and a coach makes a move and you're like, huh. You're like, that didn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
He pulls a hitter for maybe a pinch runner in a tight game, or you're like, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Maybe you have a lead right there. You want your big bopper up there, and I say I don't second guess on air, but I do in my head all the time. Baseball is that weird sport where I've become so ingrained in it that And even when I'm watching like a big league game, like I look at the small minutiae of managerial decisions of whatever that it may be, and I'm like, would I do that as a coach? What would I do in this situation? So I certainly look at it from a different perspective.
I get that too. You know, sometimes I just mute the TV when I'm watching anything. I had March Madness on last night, and I muted it because I want to I don't sit there and call the game that would irritate the people in the house a lot. So I just sit there and try and put it in my head. Honestly, what I would say, I do it. I call it silent commentating. So I just sit there and oh yeah, I say this after that, and sometimes I take notes too, and I'm sure you do that too. If you do it with the broadcasting side, and I know you do it with the coaching side as well, hey, look what he does in this situation. I'll do that in this situation. And, I do that too when I listen. So I try to pattern myself over after some guys. I don't take their stuff. I just try to, keep that professionalism like they do. That's the number one thing. And I know you do that as well. What instances where you're hey, I really want to put my input on this, but maybe I should wait because it's not the right thing to do. Have you felt that at all? I could really, somebody's talking, I could really, prove this guy wrong, but maybe it's not the right place or time. Have you, it's really that professionalism, right?
Oh, certainly. Working with a color commentator, or, if I'm color commentating play-by-play guy, you got to have to work back and forth with each other.
That too. Yeah.
Right. You got to be, you don't want to step on anyone's toes.
No.
With regards to coaches, I try not to really question anything. Whatever's happening on the field, I'll just call it. Especially with the kids, you never want to really critique or
no, you want to guide them. And
right.
I've had coaches on here before. I'm you just heard the champion guy talking. I had Austin Town Fitch coach on here as well. They're not there to they're going to stamp their authority a little bit, but they're mostly there just to guide you on your journey. Honestly, it's not. The coach is I don't want to put it this way. It's not. It's about how the kids do, and you want to be a reflection of that. You look at the coaches it's a big deal, but it's about how the kids play, and you reflect on how they play. How hard you are on them, or if you help them make their own decisions. That's what it's about, and you pick up on that a lot when you call games too. I tell you that, especially I can tell wow, this is a well coached team. You don't get screamed at for missing a ground ball or striking out or anything like that, missing a fly ball. It's hey, and you have guys on the team like that too. From what from my experiences, a lot of the teams have guys on there that will guide the other players as well, the mentors and stuff like that. So it's awesome to have that.
Oh, absolutely. As a coach, I try to guide, as you said, but
yeah,
for me, I will take a bit more of a hands-on approach.
I get that.
Coaches, for example, on my team, I just like kind of having a little bit more control. But I think every team needs to be senior led. The seniors need to set that culture. And not only that, but the culture that they sets, the future teams. So if you have kind of a toxic culture the year past, it's up to those future seniors to change that. And if they don't, that's when you spiral into I've said a toxic culture.
Yeah. We're running out of time here. We've got 1 minute left. I wish I could have you on here more. We'll have to bring you on here again. One final question for you. What's been most exciting about working for YSN, and what's that prepared you for even?
Well, the best part of working at YSN is the flexibility of the schedule. I can go call games really whenever I want to. I can follow a team if I want to. I can build a rapport with coaches and learn from different coaches and players even. So that's the best part. That's the most rewarding part of working with YSN is just the schedule and flexibility it provides.
Yes, absolutely. But a great answer. And, wish we could have more time with you, but unfortunately we're running out. We ran out here. I want to thanks for everybody. I want to thank you for coming on here, and as well as, the other people that came on today as well. But I've been Matt Morrison here And hey, please come back and join me this Wednesday. I'll have more guests on with more talk more. All right. So we'll see y'all. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks, CJ.